Remember how simple, gritty, and awesome classic 80s action movies were?
Welcome to the party, pal!
The first John Wick is a good old revenge flick that reminds us of a simpler time. One of the best action movies of the decade, it felt like a film that was pulled straight out of the golden age of action movies. Most of the action is in camera, and the stunts were pretty well coordinated, as well as having a pretty motivated badass main character played by Keanu Reeves. The movie was a small box office success, but the mysterious universe presented in the film left newly spawned fans anxious to learn more. So how did they follow this up in the sequel? Before Chapter 2 came out, some pretty awesome footage of Keanu's training with guns was released and left fans anticipating the film even more. But when it finally hit theaters, it definitely didn't disappoint.
Vengeance. It's all you have.
It was paradise for action and stunt lovers, hinted at by the opening shot featuring Buster Keaton, the granddaddy of stunt work in film. We already know that John Wick 2 did exactly what it was supposed to do as a sequel: take what the fans loved and expand upon it. It's safe to say that John Wick Chapter 2 was bigger in every way possible. The scope of the universe was expanded, the body count was surpassed, and even the length of the movie was longer. But the execution of action alone makes it stand out as a sequel and feel different enough not to be a rehash of the same ideas.
I want you to kill my sister.
We can separate action movies into 3 different categories. Let's call them realistic, semi-realistic, and unrealistic or over the top. We'll see that every single action movie ever made, from Lethal Weapon to Aliens, fits into one of these 3 categories. Let's explore them one by one and learn why John Wick Chapter 2 worked so well. Die Hard, Casino Royale, First Blood, and even Aliens fit into the category of realistic action. Wait a minute, Space Marines killing xenomorphs on an alien planet is realistic? Let us explain. Realistic action doesn't have to follow objective reality in a strict fashion. Once the rules of the universe where the movie takes place have been established, this type of action only has to follow the rules of that universe. During the first few minutes of all of these movies, we learn the rules of the game. We learn in Aliens, for example, that the story takes place in the future. There are colonial marines and xenomorphs, but the execution of the action never gets to a point where the audience is left in disbelief. Realistic action plays by the rules of the game.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wick.
Semi-realistic action refers to movies where the set pieces don't necessarily break the rules of the game, but they do bend them sometimes. 2 great examples of this type of action are The Raid Redemption and the first John Wick movie. The action in this type of films is just a notch over the top to still feel relatively grounded in reality. Films like these can show just how effective small-scale hand-to-hand combat can be by bending the rules a little bit. However, there is a catch in these types of films. If you're going to make a semi-realistic action movie, make sure the intention is clear, that you don't go too far in making your audience raise their eyebrows too high in disbelief. The worst rated movie by critics in the Fast and the Furious franchise is Fast and Furious 4. This is the first movie in the franchise that doesn't focus primarily on street racing. They introduce a handful of action set pieces that aren't grounded in reality, but since most of the movie is relatively realistic, it feels uneven.
To the ladies we've loved and the ladies we've lost. Salud.
Enter the over-the-top action movie. While we're already talking about the Fast and the Furious movies, they serve as a pretty good example. The worst rated in the franchise is Fast and Furious 4 because it's undecisive and isn't sure what it is. Coincidentally, the best rated movies in the franchise are Fast 5 and Furious 7.
Hold this.
These movies know exactly what they are and they aren't ashamed to show it. They're cheesy, over-the-top action movies that don't care if they break the rules. Break them more often, and you'll gain a huge advantage over those too afraid to risk it, like Fast and Furious 4. John Wick Chapter 2 is never shy or afraid to let us know that it doesn't care if it's unrealistic. You see, if you break the rules enough in your movie, the audience goes along with it, but you have to stay consistent. This is why we still like cheesy action like Commando and Con Air, because they stay consistent in not giving a shit. Cheesy and unrealistic can definitely be fun, as long as you don't hold back.
Whoever comes, I'll kill them. I'll kill them all.
So if you want to make a successful action movie, from sci-fi to martial arts, make sure that you choose only one of these categories and you stick with it. John Wick Chapter 2 decided to be an over-the-top action movie, where Keanu Reeves kills 128 people, 51 more than in the original. This works because it gets to the point where a trained viewer will realize that they went for it and accepts from the start that it's just not going to be realistic. Once the movie establishes that it won't play by the rules, it can become pure escapism. It's cheesy and fantastic, and it's one of the main reasons why John Wick Chapter 2 worked incredibly well. They went all the way. But there's another big reason.
Excommunicado.
When moviegoers walked out of the original John Wick, the fans agreed that other than the fantastic action set pieces, the most compelling thing was this little universe this action flick had.
Your membership to the Continental has been by thine own hand revoked.
The potential to expand upon it was huge, and everyone wanted to know more about it. And the entire sequel is very much about expanding this universe in every way possible. Markers, new killers, Continental hotels all over the globe, John Wick's past, etc. It feels a lot more like a real universe here, and it's pretty great.
No blood on Continental grounds, and every marker must be honored.
So, what's in store for John Wick Chapter 3? Of course, it could always be bigger and better, just like the second one, but we really hope they don't do that.
You have no idea what's coming to you.
While it worked for Chapter 2, it would be the same gimmick they already used. It's tricky to nail a trilogy, especially an action one, but we hope they'll do something different, and here are a few different things that could happen. 1. It returns to being a semi-realistic action movie like the original. They probably won't do this though, because it would feel like going in reverse. 2. They make it bigger and more over the top than Chapter 2. Like we said, we also hope they don't do this, but maybe it works since it did for Furious 7.
I'm gonna have a beer.
But there, the story was pretty different than the previous entries in the franchise, so they would need a brand new story that feels fresh. But considering how Chapter 2 ended, it's probably going to be a direct continuation.
You killed a man on company grounds, Jonathan. You leave me no choice but to declare you excommunicado.
3. They make a simpler, more grounded in reality action movie. This idea may seem weird on the surface, like why would you make a John Wick movie realistic if you already established that this universe is an ultra-heightened reality? This is true, but it would be a way to make the third movie different, and not the same things that we've already seen. There can be a way to make this work. Maybe John Wick is seriously injured because he was shot and stabbed like 100 times in Chapter 2. Maybe he's so wounded, he's at the level of John McClane or something, a regular guy trying to get out of a shitty situation. But maybe this idea would be too weird, I don't know. We're just two guys on YouTube making videos, but it would be interesting to see. So whatever they choose to do, what John Wick Chapter 3 absolutely needs to do is to be different than the first two, regardless of the category they choose. Two examples of trilogies that managed to do this while maintaining the same style throughout all movies are the Indiana Jones and Back to the Future trilogies. While the Indiana Jones films don't really change it up much in terms of category of action, the stories are vastly different, but with the same beats. John Wick 3 could do this by creating a very different story, but it requires a lot of creative talent. As for the Back to the Future trilogy, the same beats and style is seen in all three movies, but the setting is different. 3 movies, same but different location, as it's Hill Valley at different points in time. This change in setting makes the movies different enough to work.
No!
The point is that while both trilogies have pretty much the same structure in their movies, they feel like different adventures. We hope they do something that feels new and fresh with John Wick Chapter 3, and not just a rehash of the same old things. Maybe it's a new category of action, a completely new setting, or maybe even a completely different adventure with the hitman we have come to love. We're very interested to see where they go with this, and we're actually strangely optimistic. Because if they nail this, this would be one of the best action trilogies of all time. But we'll just have to wait and see.
My fucking nephew killed a dog. And he stole a car.
I want you to kill my sister.
Do you fear damnation, John?
No wife, no life, vengeance. It's all you have. Killing me will make it so much worse.
You killed a man on company grounds, Jonathan. You leave me no choice but to declare you excommunicado.
Tell them all. Whoever comes, whoever it is, I'll kill them. I'll kill them all.
As always, guys, we hope you enjoyed this video essay. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. We're incredibly happy to say we just got to 2,000 subscribers. We love all of your support. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe for more videos like this one, and check out our other videos. We're sure you'll find something you enjoy. Let us know in the comments what other movies you would like us to talk about. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next week.